All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special all-star edition of Talk Dragon Ball. I am, of course, Big D at Geekdom 101, and I am joined by three legends. First and foremost, my regular Talk Dragon Ball co-host from Space Australia, Super Jayan. No song for you this time, Jay.
That's okay, man. I forgive you.
I couldn't come up with one fast enough. And also joining me, Laughing Stock Media, but I call him Mike.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And very special guest here this time on Talk Dragon Ball. It's a pleasure and an honor to introduce the legendary Blackenfist.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be on here for all those beautiful friends out there.
Oh man, the ladies are dropping it. Right now.
Okay, all right. All right.
All right,
Okay.
So we're talking about Dragon Ball Super. Last night, there was as promised, Monday, whatever, in Japan, Toei updated the Dragon Ball Super website. We now have additional information about Dragon Ball Super, and I want to talk to you guys about it and see what you think and see what you think is going to happen and do a little speculation, but mostly kind of get into your head and get some more information. So here's what we know, all right? What we know for sure. Tadayoshi Yamamuro, who is one of the biggest Dragon Ball artists ever, who also directed Dragon Ball Z Revival of S, is coming back as the character designer for the show. And also we have confirmation that Yoji Yanami, who did the voice of Kai and the narrator, is returning. We haven't seen him. He wasn't in Revival of F, as well as the voice actors for Beerus, Whis, and Videl are coming back. So the image has already leaked. We've already talked about it all fair, and it's been on every YouTube channel pretty much. And we see, it looks like all the characters, and now we kind of get an idea of when this is actually going to be taking place. Looks like it's going to take place after Battle of Gods, before Revival of F, but I'm not entirely sure. So what we see is Beerus and Whis are on the website, and then to the right, there's like a fat, for lack of a better term, or heavier looking Beerus and a female Whis. So, Blackenfist, I'm going to start with you, man. Who do you think these characters are?
All right, well, let's just start off by the fact that I have no idea, because they're just images, but I don't know why. I feel like the female version of Whis, whatever she is, I don't know why. I felt like it's Whis' sister. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just one of Whis' other race, whatever Whis' race is, but I felt that whoever this is, it's his sister. They're siblings, I feel. But once again, I have no idea. That's just the vibe I got from it. And that was just the thing that instantly popped into my head. But who knows if they're siblings or not. Maybe they're not even related whatsoever. Of course, there's also the fat version of Beerus. Who knows? No idea who the hell this guy is. He could be anyone. But the one thing I do want to point out, something else that I've noticed, is Krillin has hair again. So obviously, you know, even from the teaser trailer, we could assume that this series is taking place in between Battle of Gods and Fugatsu no F. And the fact that Krillin has no hair in Fugatsu no F, and he did have hair in Battle of Gods, that only further confirms where this movie is taking place. Not to mention, Videl's also wearing the same thing that she did in Battle of Gods. It's pretty solid at this point where this is going to be taking place.
I mean, it really is. You know, let's examine the evidence here. Goten and Trunks are still kids. Satan is wearing the same outfit from Battle of Gods. Goku and Vegeta are not wearing their uniforms from Revival of F. Krillin has hair, like you said. There's all this evidence that points to this taking place after Battle of Gods, but before Revival of F. And as we know, there is a time gap. We're not sure if it's a year, 8 months, but there is a time gap. Jay, we knew that this show would take place after the Buu saga, but we didn't know when. And I don't know where it leaked online that, you know, it was like a fake leak that said that it was definitely after Revival of F, but all this evidence points to it being before Revival of F. I mean, I just don't see how it could be after.
Yeah, well, there's no evidence supporting it is after Revival of F. I mean, we don't know exactly when it's taking place, but like you guys have already pointed out, everyone in that poster more or less is wearing the exact same outfits they wore in Battle of Gods. Goten and Trunks are the ones that stand out for me. They're wearing their exact outfits, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, Mr. Satan's wearing the same. Goku and Vegeta are not wearing their
and in the trailer, Goku goes SSJ1, not the blue hair.
He does, correct. Yeah, so I'm hoping if it is in between Battle of Gods and Revival of F, we have some interesting content there. I'm sure we will get some interesting content, but yeah, we know that. Put it this way, Frieza, if this villain is more powerful than Frieza, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that when Frieza, we know that they go on to beat Frieza, but if there's a villain that's more powerful than Frieza, yeah, how will they handle that? That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. The fat-looking Beerus, like I said off air, I'm not really a fan of the design, but who knows, it might grow on me. The female-looking Whis, not too sure. I might have to say that might be one of Whis' race, or just another one of the life forms known as whatever the hell
her name is, right?
Yeah, she's obviously, if I had to assume, would be quite powerful as well. Being a Vegeta fan, I'd love to see Vegeta do the Super Saiyan God ritual. I'd love to see Gohan get some more character development. I'd love to see Piccolo get some more character development. But yeah, that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Now, Mike, I'm going to go to you next, man, because many people might not know this, but you have some history in the film industry and some history with films in different levels. So could it be possible, Mike, that when they were writing Revival of F, that they knew that this series, maybe they didn't know for sure, but they had an idea that this series was coming, and they purposely left out the, I guess, power-ups from Goku and Vegeta from those films so that they can show them off here in this series? Is that possible? Do you think that's what they're going to do here?
It's entirely possible, not to mention the fact that going back to when Akira Toriyama was actually writing Battle of Gods, he had an interview where he talked about how a lot of stuff was actually taken out of the finished product, because even according to Akira Toriyama, he said that the original film was going to be somewhere maybe even longer than 2.5 hours, and Toei was like, no, we can't really do that. So it's highly possible that maybe they're taking some of the stuff that was cut out of Battle of Gods, and then some of the stuff that wasn't shown in Fukatsu no F, and they're trying to merge them into an amalgamation during this period of time in between the two films. Also, I'd like to point out that this definitely seems to be thematically in line with Yosung Goku in many ways, because even though we didn't get a chance to see it, probably because Battle of Gods only took place over the course of a day, and I'm not entirely sure just how much of this we even saw in Fukatsu no F, because because Goku and Vegeta were training with Whis. However, there's so many things that are a call back to that, such as the fact that Goku is a radish farmer at this point, and he's back in that outfit that he wore. Satan definitely seems to be wearing the same outfit that he wore when they were commencing his new hotel. Like, there just seems to be so many things that are thematically in line. But going back to actually reviewing this in terms of a film, or that perspective, the thing that bothers me the most about all this is the fact that, first off, all these films that were taking place that are coming out now were taking place during the 10-year gap. So yes. The fact of the matter is the ending is already decided. It's already written in stone because it was in the manga. Now, since this takes place in between two films, it's even doubly so. It's like an inception of ideas that are already placed in front of us.
It's a story within a story within a story, right?
Yeah, it's an interquel within an interquel. We already know what happens not only a year after this saga happens, but at the very end. So where's the tension supposed to be in that? Where's the desperation, the dire need for our characters to try and triumph in the end?
Well, do you think that maybe the purpose of this is to show the journey of Goku and Vegeta into unlocking those new forms, and that's
the only thing I could think of.
I feel like one of the biggest constraints of placing the story in this 10-year gap is that we know certain things at the end of the series. Clearly, everyone's still fine and dandy, so we don't. So I feel like that just removes a lot of what a lot of tension and a lot of what could happen, because we already know what happens in the future. So that really deduces the possibilities, and it constrains the story because it has to fit into this timeline pretty much.
That brings up an idea actually that I had. I kind of wonder if maybe the reason why it's not taking place after Fukatsu no F, I mean, at least from the information we've been given, it seems very apparent considering, you guys were talking about earlier with the costumes and the appearances, like Krillin with the hair and stuff, is because maybe they're still trying to go for that idea that Bulma said at the end in the manga, oh, we haven't seen each other in 5 years.
That could be, yeah.
I mean, maybe that's another reason, too, why, of course, Fukatsu no F didn't take place years after Battle of Gods. It took place a year later or so.
I mean, one of my biggest complaints about Revival of F was that there's a lot of inconsistencies and plot holes, and nothing's explained. This is a chance for them to explain it. We could see Goku and Vegeta unlock those forms. We could see them get the new costumes. We could see Whis, accept him as their student. We could see Gohan getting weaker. We could see all these things in this series. You know, but is that gonna? Do you think that's going to garner enough interest so that people will keep watching?
It's really hard to tell at this point, in my opinion, just because of the fact that we don't really know what they're going to try and do. I mean, we see these other gods of destruction in the background, potentially at least, with this fat Whis this fat Beerus for all intents and purposes, and cross-dressing Whis for all intents and purposes. It's really hard to tell because we really don't know what's going to happen. But to be honest, like, the Buu saga happened over the course of 2 days or 3 days, so I really don't think it's a massive stretch to say that we could see a lot of stuff unfold during this short
might
gap.
See Trunks and Mai go on their first date, bro.
Yeah, and we might see that weird shit happen. But I mean, there's just it's really hard, in my opinion. I don't know what other guys think.
Black and Fist got a question. Let me ask Black and Fist something real quick, and I'll go to you, Jay. Do you think it's possible, because Black, you're familiar with the series and you know how Toriyama writes based on all of your videos, do you think that it's possible that these two new characters are actually protagonists and that they're still hiding the true villain of the series?
I feel that whoever these two characters are, I don't really think that they are villains. I never thought they were. Now, of course, some people brought up that these could be the villains of the series. They could be, but my guess is that they probably wouldn't show the villains of the whoever it's going to be so quickly, because I feel like there's things that they want to keep hidden, obviously, because they want to still surprise people when it actually comes out, and they obviously want to show new things that people have never seen to get people interested. And I feel like whoever this fat version of Beerus and this female Whis are those new things that are going to get people talking and speculating and interested in the series. But I really don't think that they're the new villains of the series. Because if you just look at it, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you just look at it, especially with the fat Beerus, they seem to be, Beerus and him seem to be smirking at each other, you know, in a very friendly manner. So I just don't feel that these guys like have any animosity towards each other or anything like that. I feel like they're like good friends almost. It could be completely different, but that's at least just looking at the picture, that's kind of what it looks like.
No, and he had like a wicked smirk, and I thought he was the villain, but now that I look, they both have that smirk. So now, Jay, I'm going to go to you real quick. I know you have something to say, but I have a question for you about this. Are these two characters, in your opinion, I'm gonna put a gun to your head, not literally, are they from one of the other universes? That's what we really want to know.
Well, you read my mind. That's exactly where I was going. Now, I don't want you guys to get excited and go off, let your imagination run wild. I'm just coming up with a theory here, but it's highly possible that this version of Whis and this version of Beerus could even be Whis and Beerus from an alternate universe, or be another version of them from one of the alternate universes. Of course, we don't know that, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that would really, really make it interesting. And I'll tell you why it would make it interesting, because it would open a wormhole for a whole new bunch of new stories. It'll open a bunch of new arguments about GT and the movies and all this stuff, because we then know that there's alternate universes and alternate timelines sort of things. So yeah, it's very, very, it's possible. Do I think that that's what's going to happen? No. But yeah, that would be very interesting if that version of Whis and that version of Beerus were from an alternate reality or an alternate universe.
All right, I got two more questions for you guys. I'm going to throw this one at you, Jay. And if anybody else wants to throw in, just go ahead. In the picture, the fat Beerus, whatever his name is, we don't know yet, is holding on his finger what looks like planet Earth. It's got the same characteristics as Earth. What do you think that represents? Is that Earth from a different universe? Is that our Earth? Can he shrink the Earth? Is he that big in comparison to the Earth? What does that mean? Because it's been bugging me since I've seen that picture.
Is it even Earth? I mean,
it looks like
Earth. I mean, it kind of looks like Earth, but I guess what other planet would it be? You're right. It has to be Earth. The way it almost seems, it feels like he's almost holding the planet hostage, it seems.
I think that it could be seen symbolic, perhaps, that he is in control of the Earth in this series. He might be the major threat, and although him and Beerus are smirking at each other, he could be different to Beerus in behavioral and traits wise. He might not be as forgiving, or even though Beerus isn't really forgiving, he might be a bit darker than Whis and have a bit darker sense of humor, or he might be angrier. We don't know all these things, but I don't know. It could be. It almost looks like that he's got the world in the palm of his hand, in a sense.
So I mean, we're all assuming that this is another god of destruction, right?
He looks just like Beerus.
It almost has
yeah. So I know he looks, obviously he looks of the same race, and he's also wearing the same things.
Yeah.
But does that really mean anything? And the way he's holding that planet Earth, it almost makes him seem like he's another god of destruction. But in Battle of Gods, Beerus never said that he was the only one. So maybe there's others out there. The only time he ever mentioned other gods was when he was referring to other universes. So maybe he's a god of destruction from another universe. So
I mean, it's also entirely possible that Beerus is from an alien race that's super strong, that's somewhere inside the universe, and that's just another member of his race that's not a god. But I think just because of the fact that there's another Whis-looking character with him, it makes sense that he would be a god.
Now, is that other Whis as strong as our Whis? That's the big teaser.
I mean, that's impossible to figure out. It would probably be funny if it's like, oh, this is my sister, she's much stronger than I am. I'm weak compared to her, but who knows?
Well, the thing is that even it could be her sister, but if she's from another universe, maybe she's not. So, and quite honestly, it could be very possible that these two new characters are from another universe. Who knows if they'll explore that, but exploring the other universes has been talked about a lot since Battle of Gods, because I mean, that was a big bombshell, and maybe these two characters are from other universes. And it's kind of weird too, because people have always framed the other universe topic as in Goku and the gang exploring other universes. It was never like characters or beings from other universes coming to the universe that we know. So that is an interesting dynamic.
I wonder if she has the ability to mess with time too. See, I'm curious about that. We're just talking, speculating as far as what we may see. Excuse me. So here's my last question for you guys, and I really want to delve into this before we get out of here. Do you feel that this show, we already have kind of speculated and pretty confident that this is going to show what happened between Battle of Gods, Revival of F. We're going to see the events that led to Revival of F, which at the end of the day seems to be more about Goku and Vegeta than F. That's what it seems like to me based on this. So do you think it's possible that this show will extend past Revival of F? Because I still believe that Revival of F, and this is a very light spoiler, I'm not going to give away what happens in the movie, but Revival of F came off to me like a training session in many ways for Goku and for Vegeta. We actually see it in the movie, and it really felt like Whis and Beerus, or mainly Whis, is preparing Goku and Vegeta for bigger and better things. So I'm going to start with Mike and then go to Black and Fist. I'll go to Mike, then Jay, then Black and Fist. What do you think it's possible this show is going to extend beyond Revival of F and maybe even beyond End of Z? Will there be a time skip? And then if so, we're going to have to watch it like really weird, like watch Revival of F again. Maybe that's one of the tricks when they put the Blu-ray out. Okay, they're going to put the Blu-ray out right when the show is at that part, and then we have to go see that and then come back to the show. I don't know, but what do you think, Mike? And then I'm going to go to Jay and then Black and Fist, and we're out of here.
Honestly, I absolutely have to think that it's going to go past that. I think that only the initial saga or the initial stage is going to focus during the stage between the two films, like that time gap. And I think that it's just going to lead up to that. I've always theorized that it could happen during the remaining 5 years, or it could happen afterwards, but that Goku and Vegeta are going to go with Whis and Beerus to these other universes and explore them, and they're basically being tested, in a way to actually get them up to the point where they're worthy enough or they're strong enough to actually fight these other superior fighters out there, or to learn more about what is beyond the universe. So
you think they might get their ass kicked by Fat Beerus, and then Whis is like, okay, you're not ready yet?
I mean, it's highly possible, but I think that there's a a good possibility that this could go past even when Oob is around, like at the very end of Dragon Ball Z. Because I've always had this kind of pet theory that perhaps ever since the 12 universes were invented and then introduced to us, that perhaps Goku is going to train Buu to watch over their universe. I mean, he's going to train Oob to watch over their universe during the period of time in which he and Vegeta leave. So they leave it in the strongest hands imaginable, and then they say, okay, now we're going to leave and we're going to go explore these other universes and do things that are even greater than our own universe. So it's possible that could happen in the 5 years in between, the remaining 5 years in that gap. But I kind of feel like maybe it could even be both.
I think that the series will obviously fill in the gaps between Battle of Gods and between Fukkatsu no F. A theory that I have is that Goku and Vegeta will use their Super Saiyan God states, obviously not the redhead versions, but
you think they will unlock them in this series?
I think they will unlock them, but what I'm trying to say is I think they will, perhaps, this is a theory, they will try and fight the Fat Buu, Beerus, sorry. I keep saying the wrong thing. Yeah. They'll fight the Fat Beerus.
Fat Buu is in it too, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll fight the Fat Beerus in their Super Saiyan God forms. Not the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan forms. I'm talking about them going Super Saiyan with the Saiyan God power absorbed. And they will fail. That's when Whis might say, okay, like you said, you're not ready. You need some more training. He decides to take them on as his students. As for it taking place past Fukkatsu no F, I think that's definitely a possibility. But I honestly, in my opinion, and this is my opinion and I could be wrong, I don't think it's going to go past the end of Z.
Okay, and Black and Fist, what do you want to see and what do you think we're going to see?
Well, what I would want to see is obviously for these characters to be from other universes, if that is true. But one other thing I would like to see is Dragon Ball has a lot of time skips, and I do feel that Dragon Ball Super, because of the production background it has, replacing the Dragon Ball Kai Buu saga in Japan, and before that Toriko, and that time slot that it has is a time slot in which shows are running for a long time. So I feel like Dragon Ball Super is going to run for at least a year. And what I really am hoping to see in the future for Dragon Ball Super is that another time skip occurs in this series, and it goes to a different time skip. Now, I know Jay just said that it might not be, he doesn't think that it's going to be after the end of the manga, and that could be very much true, but it could be after maybe Fukkatsu no F and during that period, or maybe, but quite honestly, I do feel that going beyond the end of the manga is a definite possibility here, because Dragon Ball Super, I feel, is going to be running for a while, especially if it's successful. And I really do feel that that time gap that they're really having, they're really squeezing a lot of things into it, and I think they're starting to run out of wiggle room. And eventually I do feel that they're going to have to be forced, just to continue this show, they're going to be forced to move to another time period, and that is when, I don't know when it is going to be, but I have a hunch it's going to be probably after Fukkatsu no F. I would like it to be after the manga, though.
I just feel like, yeah, I agree. I just feel like they wouldn't even introduce these blue-haired forms if they didn't have something planned for them. They these guys, for all the stuff people say about Toriyama not planning things out, they also are very good at filling holes. And I find it very interesting that this is one of the rare times. Mike, you might have to correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember a series ever that had a series within a series and then movies within that series. So literally, if you're watching the story of Dragon Ball in chronological order, you have to watch Dragon Ball Z 1 through episode 288, then watch Battle of God. Oh no, then watch 2008 OAV, then Battle of Gods, then watch Super episodes 1 through 30, then watch Revival of F, then go back to Super, then go back to Z. I've never even heard of anything like this.
There's been series that have done something kind of similar, but never anything to this extent, except for maybe something like Jero Tolkien with the Silmarillion and going back and forth in certain periods. But in terms of that, no, I really don't think that there's ever been anything to this extent, especially considering all the different time gaps it creates, or the different time skips it actually creates, and then actually tries to go back and fill them in. It seems like it's taking that to extreme. So I don't think that there's ever been anything in this like to this level.
That's it, and we're all excited. And you know what's funny? It's going to provide content for all of our channels. Black and Fist might have to do an updated canon video and explain that one. It's going to be a pain, but it'll be fun to watch. Pain to make, fun to watch, because we work hard on these videos. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Black and Fist. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mike. Check out their channels. I'm going to put the description. I'm going to put their channels in the description below for everybody to go check out. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Thank you for having me. Hopefully you, me, and the other guys will be doing more videos in the future. Definitely.
I'm excited, bro, because Black and Fist, folks, cream of the crop when it comes to Dragon Ball YouTubing. And Jay is...
You're pretty good yourself, man.
I appreciate
And as we know, the cream always rises to the top.
All right. Well, Jay is, also very good, very knowledgeable guy, and of course, Mike's got a lot of stuff under his belt here, and I don't mean that as a euphemism for something else. But anyways, thanks everybody for listening. I want to know what you think below in the comment section. Tell me, subscribe to all these channels, and I'll catch you down the road.